This podcast contains an English accent that most of our Irish listeners will find offensive. Also, there may be some colourful language that you're going to find less offensive. Now, over to Ryan and Leon. Enjoy the podcast.
Today, I'd like to talk about poetry. In 1966, the Academy of American Poets designated April as National Poetry Month. Research has found that writing about emotional themes improves our immune system. It can also reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. Both the experience of writing and reading poetry can have a powerful healing effect. Poetry inspires us to dive deep into our emotional depths, allowing us to more easily put words to what's happening within. When dialoguing with others, words can be hard to find, let alone speak. But when we sit in a quiet place and pick up a pen, we create space for our feelings to flow through us, connecting with our heartache or grief, gratitude or joy. As Audre Lorde said, poetry is not a luxury. It is a vital necessity of our existence. It forms the quality of light within, which we can predicate our hopes and dreams towards survival and change, first made into language, then into idea, then into more tangible action. Poetry is the way we help give name to the nameless so it can be thought.
Jeez, I want to buy a load of incense there, take my shoes off.
Well, you know what that was from?
Did you write that?
Well, you said there that is that running water in the background?
There's running water in the background.
You know why it's running water in the background?
Shin the Jacks.
It's taken from the Calm app.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
That was today's Tamara Levitt Daily Calm, all about poetry.
Do you feel calmer now after listening to that?
I do, yeah. I do
Yeah.
actually, yeah. Do you know? You don't seem to.
It was just, she kind of went on for a bit.
In all fairness to her and Calm, like, she doesn't speak much in these 10-minute meditations, so she got all the words at the end.
Yeah, like, I think she was right, but it was just, I don't know, after a while, it just kind of...
She went on.
My brain turned off a little bit. Maybe I was just so calm.
Well, that's the thing. That's what it's meant to be doing. It's meant to be turning your brain off.
Turn your brain off. Well, she did the trick.
Calm is one of them things where when I use it, I have a great fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like typical things with me. The things I should do, I don't fucking do.
Because you're too fucking calm about it. You're too fucking calm about it.
Do you know what I mean there?
I use Insight Timer. So it's a free app.
Yeah.
And there's a fella called David G. And he's from California. He's this mad. He looks like me, but like snow white hair, big long beard, and he's very fucking good. He's very fucking good at the old guided meditations.
Problem with Inside Timer, because the missus got me onto Inside Timer, and I just think sometimes the stories are a bit too engaging.
Well,
it's a bit of a problem.
Do you feel like you're in a player?
He's lying down like about 3 minutes. Like, what's happening next? What's going to go on next time?
Well, how's Beth? And you gonna? It's like a little cliffhanger, like
yeah.
Trying to go
That's the
sleep.
thing about these like meditations. Like if it's too good, it doesn't work.
Because you're too invested in it.
Too invested.
You're there like fucking. Ooh,
yeah.
You know. Ooh, how am I going to sleep now? Beth's stuck in the windmill.
I did a bit of a half meditation actually on the way in. I raw dogged the Lewis trip into town from the office.
Luther, are you?
Just sat there and just I was sat there and just stared straight, and like everybody, and like I was kind of looking at others to see who else was on the raw dog team to see like and then I saw a bloke like standing up doing the same, just standing staring out the window. I was like, yeah, missing me and you, brother.
You just
me
staring
all the way, baby.
Staring at each other the whole time. Like.
It's a very strange experience because like my hands were clasped as well.
Yeah.
Like my hands were like, don't touch the fucking phone, don't touch the phone,
Yeah.
don't touch the phone. But after a while, you kind of go, what am I even bothered about this phone for? And then what happens is your brain makes you think of something, and then you have to get your phone. You're like, I've got to do that thing, and then you're like, oh no,
because it's an extension of you, you know. And it's like, obviously, if you're thinking, it has immediate answers, and also all your notes and calendars and communications on it. So I can understand why that's the way it is. I spent me time on the train in here completely on my phone. Completely on my phone. Busy. Doing shit.
Getting back to your correspondence.
My fucking correspondences were corresponded to. But
well, you came in hot into the studio today because you had some good news about a location change of an event that you were working on.
That's what I was doing. I was putting out posters and rallying the troops. Yeah. So we were blessed to be part of the One Dublin One Book Festival, and it's run by UNESCO. And there's a One Dublin One Book collaboration where I think there's 22 artists basically in one book. And to celebrate kind of the festival, the month of April, there's loads of events on in the month of April. And ourselves at Rising Tide are honoured to be part of it. We're in 2 different kind of shows, but the first show sold out in an hour. It was in a Tala library, and now it has moved to a much larger space, the Civic Theatre in Tala, which is the main space, which is a 260-seater venue. So we went from 60 to 260. So now we're trying to rally the troops and get everyone and their nannies to go. But it's a good lineup and stuff.
It's a great lineup. Yeah. Con Keegan, Jan Brereton,
Stephen James Smith.
Yeah. Emmett Kerwin.
We've Sheila Ryder as well. We've Sandy Jane Hyland doing a bit of music.
And it's on April the
8th.
8th.
At 6 o'clock.
And it's free.
Completely free.
Just go.
Completely free. Like, you don't even have to like poetry. Just go. Like, do you know what I mean?
What else you on a Tuesday
you can
anyway?
hate poetry and just go. Like, and say how you hated it. It doesn't matter. It's free. It's completely free.
Go.
Do you know what I mean? You can get to go. Like, but the lineup that we have, like, you'd rarely see all those names on one bill, you know?
Yeah.
And to see them all for free,
key.
You know what I mean? So obviously we found out this morning that because they wanted to change the location, and we found out this morning. So now, which is Wednesday, but this will be out on Monday. There'll be still tickets, I'm sure. Get onto our social media, Rising Tide Events. You'll be able to go. Even if you're international, fly over. It's free. Doesn't matter. Get yourself a cheap Ryanair flight for a £5. Who cares? Just row the fucking way over, bleeding across the sea. I don't give a rat's. It's free. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of things happening in Dublin, today's show, there's we're gonna dip our toe into a couple of deeper things today. But before we do that, there was a very wonderful story happening in Dublin 8.
Oh, is it?
This weekend. I sent you over to you. The Cobblestone pub in Smithfield posted a post 3 days ago,
right?
Which would have been a week ago when this goes out, and the post was a poem and a story, right? So let me share with you what the post said, right? So this is from the Cobblestone. Inez from Peru, South America, knocked on our door last night after closing time, distraught at having lost the poem that was written and gifted to her in the bar. Her effort was rewarded when she located the lovely handwritten script from the man from Wales, Rhys, who impressed in word and charm. Love stories know no geographical boundaries.
Or literary boundaries.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's read the poem.
Yeah, we should read the poem.
So I'll let you read it.
Okay.
There you go. So this was written seemingly in Mulligans pub.
Very fucking decadent handwriting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like ye old Irish.
He's a very good handwriting. Yeah.
Very good on Al Reese. So I'll read it from you. It's called Mulligans, which is another pub.
Yeah, well, he's written, obviously met her in Mulligans.
Met her in Mulligans, and she migrated
and then
to Cobblestone.
And then she lost the fucking poem in Cobblestone.
Cobblestone, one of the best places in the country to find real trad. There you go. Mulligans. Rhys from Wales, a nice man, though talk enough for 3, but need a rise to get from Rhys, mistake him from Swansea. Inez, a child of nations, the full world she embrace, made easier in this noble task by being so fair of face.
Oh, do you reckon of that?
Later.
No wonder she was chasing back for that.
Rhys had his palms out for the lads.
Yeah, I think you need to know a bit about Wales, because I think he's kind of saying people from Swansea are moody. Is that what he's saying?
He's broody.
Yeah. So that was grand. So I was like, right, there must be a part 2 to this story. So I left a comment to the Cobblestone and I was like, there needs to be a part 2 to this story. They went, yeah, well, if we hear anything, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
I messaged them saying, listen, lads, I hope you're well. Love that post. Tell us everything about what happened that night, right? The response I'm going to give you is more artistic than the poem you just read.
Fuck off.
Well,
there's the Cobblestone.
Are you ready for this shit? So the first message was, I'll check with the staff member and get back to you. And then this is the response.
Oh, yeah.
A knock on the door. An urgency. An impatience. I've lost my poem. Dropped it in the floor. I've never picked a poem off the floor, you see. How do you pick up a word, a letter, a phrase? Do the words break, shatter, or bounce? Do they roll under the table? Ah, it's a written poem. Why didn't you say? Come, let's look. A white parchment contrasting against shadows of brown ales and memories of tobacco smoke. The memory of being rolled and bound with ribbon still evident in the paper's stance. Rescued. Then raised triumphantly, encircled, read and understood the power of words. Parchment securely fixed underarm, her happiness marches off into the night as the door closes behind her.
Fucking hell. Who was that?
That was Steve at the Cobblestone pub.
Steve Steve's a fucking writer.
For fuck's sake.
Wow.
Brilliant.
I knew the outcome of the story, and I was still like, what happens next?
Yeah.
What happens next?
The poem kind of teased us in, but the story.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow. Do you know what? The Cobblestone is it's a national monument. It's incredible. There's trad on like every single day. I think they have like 3 or 4 different trad sessions on Sunday alone. They have like Irish speaking classes, trad musicians in the back, or trad lessons in the back. One of the lads from Ishbini na HÉireann, did you ever hear that band?
No, what's that?
Ishbini na HÉireann. Oh, you need to get into
Ishbini na HÉireann.
Ishbini na HÉireann.
Okay.
Ireland's sausages.
Oh.
Or sausages of Ireland. Ishbini na HÉireann. And they're like a trad band. They're mates with John Francis Flynn, who's like another great trad musician, but they your man who's in Ishbini na HÉireann, his dad owns the Cobblestone.
Ah, amazing.
So you can understand there's a lot of literaticisms going on around there, you know.
Is it still under risk, or what's the crack? Like, I thought it was getting closed down, but
they were trying to fucking build a hotel on it, and there was murder because it's such an important cultural. Like, if you think about like trad music is indigenous music to Ireland. Like, you can't be, and as I said, like there's like I think in the top 5 places in the country, that's one of them. And it's in a city. Most of them are like some fucking back arse pub in the middle of nowhere, and it's a cultural haven or whatever it is. And you have to make a pilgrimage out there. But the Cobblestone, like, it's in the fucking city, and it's in the capital city.
Yeah.
And you can get trad music
every day. I think
every day.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible.
Can't go like.
You'd be destroying, like, as I said, like a cultural national monument. Like, you couldn't. So I think they've kind of fought them off, but it's still not 100%. But for now, they kind of keep your wits about you, but they're away from the door for the moment.
Yeah,
but they could still come back.
Well, listen, we'll both be we'll both be there with our bayonets.
Fucking
if
too
they
right.
Come
we'll be building the barricades.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
building the barricades.
The barricades.
Sounding the pipes, getting the fucking guillotine ready. Do you know what I mean? I know you can't be getting something rid of that. Like, it's important. Like, and but that was
amazing. A light start.
Well, it's messages like that show you just have. That's a fucking staff member in the Cobblestone. Do you know what I mean? That's how much it oozes creativity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Gee, it's coming out of the walls,
dripping from every orifice.
Thanks, Steve. I've been sitting on this for a couple of weeks, right? So I've been intrigued, and I went on a bit of a mission. So I think I must have been on TikTok or Instagram or something, and I saw a clip of the actor Andrew Garfield. I liked Andrew Garfield.
I've seen Spider-Man.
Yeah. Have you seen Tick Tick Boom?
No.
Really good. Yeah. About a guy trying to get his first play. On stage. Really good stuff. And it was an interview on a podcast that I wasn't familiar with, where he started crying after he was reading something. I'm sure people have seen this. It's got like millions of views. It just broke down in the middle of reading this story. Let's have a listen to Andrew and what happened.
My wife hasn't worn a bikini for 6 years and probably never will again. She says she's too old, which makes me sad. She's a beautiful woman with grey in her hair. My parents no longer drive at night. Sorry. Fucking hell, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's beautiful. Do you want to take a break?
No, it's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Can I ask you if you just, this might take you out of it, so tell me to stop, but what's hitting you so much in this section?
Oh, dear. I don't know. It's mysterious. This is why art is so important. Because it can get us to places that we can't get to any other way. I think what's hitting me, I don't know. It's the preciousness. It's the preciousness, as we've been talking about. And it's the longing for more. It's like we all pass with so much more to know, with so much more longing. I don't know why it's affecting me so deeply, but I feel this man's writing, and it feels like, for all of us, it feels like he's tapping into something so universal. A longing to be here. And
so that was Andrew Garfield, right? So that is on a podcast called Modern Love, which is a New York Times podcast.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I had to dig deeper. What the fuck? Because I thought it was a poem. I thought it was written out a poem. And I thought, geez, I need to read that thing. It's not a poem. It's an essay.
Right.
It's an essay that the New York Times published about 10 years ago by a writer called Chris Huntington. And it's, I think we should share it, because I just think that if someone is reading something out loud like that and he's fucking breaking down because it's hitting so hard, I think it's worth a little bit extra time to put our feet up, get the kettle on. This is probably about 6-7 minutes long, so if you want to pause the podcast, get off, get the kettle on, come back with a cup of tea and a bicky,
Get your fluffy socks on.
and listen to Leon. Leon's going to do the essay for us, right? So, Leon, give us the name of the essay.
So it's called Learning to Measure Time in Love and Loss. For about 10 years, I worked full-time in prisons as a teacher, logging more than 40 hours a week behind those fences, including a long winter at one facility that had been a cereal factory and stood near the highway in downtown Indianapolis. It was a rock of a building with finger-thick grills on the windows. During my first week there, an inmate laughed when I asked him to reset the wall clock. A few minutes off, he said. We need one that goes by months and years. What do we care about 5 minutes? I mention this only because his words summed up the love story that had defined my life. When my wife left me, I was living in Paris, which was not as romantic as it may sound because I was incredibly lonely. My bones ached, especially at the sound of accordions in train stations. All my plans had come to nothing. I'd failed a marriage, failed at work, and had no money to speak of. Sometimes I would see my ex-wife on the street and she would turn away with an eagerness that could not be ignored. One night I came upon 2 boys robbing an old Vietnamese man, and when I tried to intervene and make them stop, they turned on me. I began to wonder if maybe a part of me wanted to die. I moved back to the United States and took the job in the prison. I met the inmate who helped me with the clock. I also met an inmate who had salt and pepper hair, huge biceps, and a pair of ridiculous glasses no one in the free world would ever wear. This man's name was Mike. He showed me a folder of clippings and photocopied certificates from all the educational programs he had completed in prison. He had earned a GED and a bachelor's degree, as well as certifications in the usual programs like small engine repair and barbering. He had kept letters from his counsellors, chaplains and teachers. In these letters, supervisor after supervisor claimed to love him, but it all struck me as kind of sad and awkward. I couldn't read the whole thing. I had my own problems. I had taken a tiny apartment and spent my evenings trying to write a book and corresponding with women I had met on the internet. I took all my lost chances personally. When I first met Mike, he said, "These young guys, they just get locked up and they've got 5 years to do and they hate it." I get that. When you're 20, 5 years is a long time, so they act out. I used to be like that, but now I'm 2/3 done, so every day is taking me closer to the door. And when I think like that, I can get up in the morning and smile. A month later, my supervisor told me Mike had been locked up for more than 16 years and had at least 8 more to go. Arrested when he was a teenager. He wasn't going to be released until he was in his mid-40s. He had raped the sheriff's daughter in his hometown. It didn't matter how fat his folder of supportive letters got. I used to be angry, Mike told me. I'd pick fights over nothing. I was mad to be in prison and I wanted everyone else to be mad too. But then I realised, man, this is my life. Do I want to be that guy? Always mad. I'm not going to get married or have a family. Not today. Maybe never. I'm going to be here. I'm a prisoner. There are some things I'm never going to do. And I can spend my life being mad about that. Or I can try something else. I asked him what he had decided. I decided to be the best prisoner I could be, he said. This all relates to the clock on the wall because I fell in love again, and this became my new life. She was from New Hampshire and had never been to France. She left me for 2 years to write a memoir about her mother, but then she came back. She wrote me letters, and I felt I knew her entire apartment because I studied the tiny photos she sent me of her sitting at her desk or standing by her curtains. We were married, but not before I went to New Hampshire and met her mother. That afternoon, her mother could barely look at me. She was 48 and very sick, just a few months away from being dead. My wife drove me through her hometown, and I saw the lake, where she had spent her summers when she was a teenager. Not quite 5 feet tall and voluptuous in swimsuits long gone. We ate ice cream and talked quietly in the afternoon. She held my hand. She gave me an expensive watch that I kept wearing even after the crystal was scratched. Our son is from Ethiopia, where I once saw a dead horse on the side of the road that resembled an abandoned sofa. I asked a friend if we needed to do something about that, and he said the wild dogs would take care of it. We took our son far away from all of that 5 years ago, which may seem like a kindness, except it also hurts. I wish our son could know those dirt roads and the way they looked like chocolate milk in the rain, the way the hillsides were a delicate green, the way our driver would not go into the zoo because he was disgusted by the concrete ugliness of the lion cages. I wish my son's birth parents could see him swimming. He's such a good swimmer. I wish they could hear him reading books aloud. I wish he could know them. I wish our son could speak Oromo, the language of his birth. Our story, so full of love, is also full of loss. When I was younger, I used to get up early in the morning to write. Now I get up early to make my son breakfast. I rarely stay up late. I like my job, but I have to work after dinner most nights. I can reach my laptop only if I lean over the pile of markers and a tiny Buzz Lightyear on my desk. My wife hasn't worn a bikini for 6 years and probably never will again. She says she's too old, which makes me sad. She's a beautiful woman with grey in her hair. My parents no longer drive at night and have fewer and fewer hobbies. This summer my mother made a box of cookies just for my son. I was happy to see them talking quietly in the kitchen. I'm constantly aware of lost opportunities. I used to think that such lost opportunities were beautiful towns flashing by my train windows. but now I imagine they are lanterns from the past, casting light on what's ahead. My life is constrained in hundreds of ways, and will be for years as my son grows up and my wife and I grow older. I don't know when I will return to Paris, if ever. I don't know when or if I will finish my book. I do know I love eating breakfast with my son. My wife wants to open only one box of cereal at a time to keep the flakes from going stale, but my son and I get up first, so we eat what we want. We like to change. He gives me a thumbs up whenever I open a new box. In our family, we talk about our days and recount our best part and worst part at dinner time. Last week, I was reading a bedtime story with my son and was distracted by the laptop and work waiting on my desk. But I turned to him and said, "We forgot. Best part, worst part. What was the best part of your day?" He pushed his chin into my shoulder and said, "This is, Daddy. This is." I felt a complete fool. I had to close my eyes for a moment. And then we agreed that his worst part was when he had cried about eating chickpeas. When I was a boy, I hated beets. I hope I can protect my son from beets until he's old enough to hold in the tears. They're not worth it. When the battery in my watch died, I still wore it. There was something about the watch that said, it doesn't matter what time it is. Think in months, years. Someone loves you. Where do you go? There are some things you will never do. It doesn't matter. There is no rush. Be the best prisoner you can be.
That was the essay Chris Huntington wrote called Learning to Measure Time in Love and Loss, published by the New York Times in 2013. A round of applause for Leon Dunn doing such a good job.
Thank you.
Fresh. I mean, you've never read it before?
No. I think that added to it though, because I didn't know where it was going.
That's probably why fucking Andrew Garfield couldn't quite keep it together.
There's
a lot in that, isn't there?
There's a lot in that, and like there's so many things. It's like prisons and family and Paris, like,
and complexities of life, and the wish that we all have the life that's quite linear, that's like a computer game where you just like go through the levels and it gets harder but you win, and it's never fucking like that.
No,
things drop, and like at the end he says that like there's that moment with the boy that like that's what life's about, so take it, but you'll also, there are things that you just will never do and you have to fucking accept it.
Yeah, but even like the guilt he has when he's looking at the desk with the computer and the work that he has, and that's the best part of his son's day, and he was thinking about what after to do after this.
Yeah,
because he's so swept up in life, and I think that's what happens when you're an adult. You get swept up in life and all the little things, and there's so many things filling your day, but months and years pass you by, and then you look back and go, how did I spend those years and those months worrying about minutes, worrying about seconds, and filling my day full of meaningless tasks?
Yeah, and also like life is so messy sometimes as well. I've found in my life you've got to come to a decision in your life where you don't want messiness, and that requires a level of like due diligence of what you're doing. But it's just like to be that strict on yourself every day is very difficult to do, and even like it's messy, the story of Mike, because you want to get on Mike's side, but he's raped someone.
Someone,
like, even that's complex. Like there's nothing simple about this.
No, there's nothing black and white about it.
No,
it's like he's trying to be the best man he can, but he's also committed a horrible crime and probably ruined someone's life.
Yeah, no, definitively.
A family's life as well, I'd say. So how do you... There is no right, like there's obviously wrong, what I'm trying to say. Like, there's no clear way of him to redeem himself. He's already done it, and he's has to accept what he's done in his teens that will follow him for the rest of his life. There's just so many things in that.
There's a lot of things in that. I'm glad we shared it.
Yeah, I think so. Like it's a fabulous piece of writing. You can understand why it made it to the New York Times.
Yeah.
You know,
I loved it. I loved reading it when I read it. There's a piece that I'm going to share with you. Right, this is from a poet called Rebecca Salazar, and again, it's almost like a stream of consciousness. And stream is an interesting word because it's about a river.
Oh,
do you feel a certain way when you look at a river?
it depends on what river now.
Yeah.
Depends on what river.
Maybe not the Liffey, but maybe the Liffey. Like, there's romanticism, I think, in most rivers.
Yeah.
But, there's something about a river that, especially if you're on your own, I do find when you like just sit and stare, there's stirrings happening, and you kind of go into a place of reflection and revision and wanting and longing. And this poem is basically like a story of a stream of consciousness of what your brain does when you sit in next to something beautiful. In this place, it's a river, but it could be anything that you like to watch.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, this is River Skin by the Canadian poet Rebecca Salazar.
This one's called River Skin. Identify the land, the injury, find water. Thank the generations who protect this. Hold your skin accountable to them. Etch spirals on a round stone offered by the river. If the river offers no stones, wait a week. A guide in swan's wings will bring 7 stones. Choose one. This stone is mineral medium embedded in the flesh. Once granted invitation, cast your stone into the water. When the river spits silver esophagus to hold your offering, measure the devil's throat, bright channel. It will speak for you the length of what you've lost. Skin will form upon the river's surface as in scalded milk. A fine silk you must gather, sew into a lantern as it dries. Stitch with the hands of 7 many-gendered kin. One tells you of the new body she grows inside her own. One smells of smoke and brings a book of matches. One is young and still bears scabs of your collective injuries. Together, hold the lantern high and light the fire in its mouth. Foam the river's surface with your heat, a gift and thanks. The lantern carries on the wind and is enfolded, then dissolves into itself. To heal is to affirm the hurt and palm its stones. To know the lantern will douse out, and not to need to wake it where it falls. To heal is to allow rivers to cauterize and to attend in mutual care. Every action has its counter. Every sunken stone a flight. Each weight a weightlessness. Each letting go a holding forth, an offering. Wait 3 more seasons for the flood.
That was River Skin from the collection Antibody by Rebecca Salazar.
I liked it a lot. I think it just... Because in my life, right, there's been moments of like... I don't know, like moments of change. There seem to always be matched with solo trips or trips to my parents when it's just me and them two. And we always find like a body of water or a river, and I'm just staring going, okay, I can feel a change coming. So that's like the proper painting of a picture. It's like a movie of your brain's actions when you're being moved by the water. That's all I got from it.
Well, I think water is, whenever you're beside any volume of water, there's like a meditative quality to it. Do you know rivers are sacred in Ireland?
No.
It's like the River Shannon, all that stuff like that. You've got loads of different ones where they're basically they Irish kind of folklores, they believe there's like a spirit within the water. So Shannon would have been like a river spirit within it.
Shannon was a river spirit.
Yeah, that's what they believe. So they obviously, like, the Irish indigenous culture would have worshipped. It's kind of like so they're saying Canadian, then she's based in Canada. Like, there's obviously indigenous people in Canada, Native Americans in obviously America, North America, and but then like Irish folklore and stuff, the indigenous kind of culture would have worshipped the land as well. And like rivers, lakes, wells, like holy wells are still considered sacred in Ireland. There'd be like hills would be considered, like the hill of Ishnok, there's the hill of Tara.
Yeah.
You know the hill of Tara, don't you?
Yeah.
They light big fires. And
it's a very underwhelming experience going to the fucking hill of Tara. Me and the missus drove there a few years ago, we're just in Meath, and I'd never seen it before. I wanted to go. It's just a fucking mound. Like, it's just a man. I don't know what. I obviously didn't expect a tribe.
Yeah, you just expect the fucking fairies to be there or
There was
something.
nothing there. Nothing there.
Well, if you can go, there's like they have different ceremonies with on top of the Hill of Tara and the Hill of
Do they?
Ishnock. Yeah, Beltane in May is a festival where they light a big fuck off fire on the Hill of Ishnock, which is the centre of Ireland. And they have a big festival, a big pagan festival there. They've music and they've fire breathers and they've got all different kinds of artists involved now.
Yeah.
But that's thousands of years old, like. Do you know? So it's a bit of.
So Jim Morrison would appreciate
he'd be drinking
a session at the Hill of Tara.
He'd be drinking blood and all he
Sure,
would,
last
fucking
week's.
in his leather trousers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a fabulous piece of work, and I think it there's a touch of indigenous mindset within that poem. I think as well. There's like a kind of ritual.
Yes.
There's a ritual within
there's a
it.
ritual vibe.
You know, and
100%.
the worship of the river and the river of consciousness, and this, you know, it's very good, very well written. Really liked it.
I've been reading a collection by someone called Kristen Jewell. Really enjoying it, and it's a collection that is. She does a very good job in dipping a toe in the water of some very dark subjects, but brings you back up. I think that anyone that is writing about severe dark subjects like clinical depression and suicide, you've got to just dip your toe in and then bring you back up.
Yeah.
Does a very good job doing that. There's a poem from the collection that I wanted to share with you, mate, called Maui. Maui is the demigod from the Disney film Moana.
Really?
Have you seen Moana?
I haven't seen Moana.
Oh, so when I sent you this poem, I was like, oh, this is Maui. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's mad. You never seen Moana?
I haven't. It's something.
Do you like Disney?
Do you know what it is? I was looking at it going, I really like that, and then just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
I know the Rock's in it. And I love the Rock.
Well, the Rock is Maui.
Yeah. And I love Maui culture and all of that as well, Polynesians and stuff. It's all deadly, but I haven't watched it yet. Don't know. There's two of them.
Don't mean to shame you, mate, but there's two of them, yeah. I'll read it then, so. This is a poem called Maui by Kristen Jewell. Sometimes I get so caught up in sadness, I may as well be attached to a fisherman's hook, because nothing has ever reeled me in so pointedly, sharply. A line tugged so tight, tension close to snapping, reinforced specifically to prevent escape. I'm hooked. And I don't know if it's because I took the bait or the bait took me. Either way, I can expect to be gutted and filleted. And maybe I should have fought harder, torn free. No matter what flesh may be ripped from my body. I don't have gills, but I lose my breath like a fish out of water. I wish I could change bodies, like the demigod, Maui, in the film Moana. I could use that hook to change, no longer dragged in by depression. I would be set free to soar through skies like seagulls, swim seas like sharks, slither like snakes sliding on soil. What feeling could ever catch up when you're changing that fast? I wonder if Maui was running from abandonment, or if he was just cut free from the line. Catch and release. No feast here. Just left scarred and hurt. I'm scared of hurt. Maui, does it call you too? And no one knows how far it goes? Took the heart of Tafiti because you couldn't imagine any other way to contribute to life? I'm sorry. I'm reeling in, feeling after feeling. I reel eyes. I followed the siren song lure. Sure, I'm not a demigod, and I can't use a magical hook to change myself. But maybe it's not myself I need to change, but my perspective. I am a poet. If I can think of words with weight while watching walls, why wouldn't woefulness willingly wrought whimsical wonder? If I can contribute positively to this life with any of my words, it would be worth it. So, Maui, shapeshifter, demigod of the wind and sea, hero to all, thank you for helping me realise that Hook isn't what makes me, me.
That was Maui by Christian Jewell.
From the collection More Than Half Drowning.
More Than Half Drowning.
I really liked it. Really liked it. It kind of the whole collection. It brings up some tough subjects, but she does it in a kind of lightness that I think makes it easier to digest, but also more relatable as well.
Yeah, well, like with tying depression with Disney.
Yeah,
it's a interesting juxtaposition of how, like Moana, which is such a bubbly kids movie, and then you have depression, like,
yeah,
and a god that shape shifts, and you're tying it in with that. So like it's a very interesting poem of an approach to, you can kind of linger on the outskirts of, or just put a little droplet there, little flecks of depression, I suppose, put it in there without going into the whole deep kind of whatever, in the trenches of it.
Yeah, because it's a tough balance, I think, with poetry, because like she even said, like, she didn't want the poetry or the collection to be like an anthem for suicide or an anthem for like depression, and like when you try to shine a light on the issues that you are personally feeling, you don't want to exactly echo what someone else is feeling, because what someone else is feeling is bad, really bad. Like, can really, like, a poem that is a mirror can scare someone into some bad choices, you know what I mean? Like, so you have to kind of carefully, interesting what she says about the hook, like you have to fish in and find a person that's feeling that way, but and then drag them out. Yeah, of course. I guess that's the point of art, isn't it? It's like, it's not just a mirror, it's a fishing hook as well. Yeah,
it catches your attention and it kind of pulls in a different direction.
Yeah, because you have to be pulled in a different direction, that's the whole point.
I think some poems that dance around things can be more powerful than directly, instead of like, you're kind of using metaphor or symbolism or whatever you don't need to talk about something for it to have the same impact.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Sometimes it has more of an impact by not directly or gone full throttle into something like that. Let people kind of make up their own minds, or drum up an emotion within someone without telling them to feel that emotion can be more powerful, and that poem does it really well.
Yeah, lovely collection. Let's wrap up the show with this one, right? So I've been following the work of a poet from my neck of the woods near Birmingham called a poet called Daniel Kay, or DK as he coolly goes by. And he's an event organiser in the Midlands, and he is an advocate for accessibility arts. So that's actually the company that he
really,
the events company is called Accessibility Arts. Wow. And it's a platform for people that have various levels of disabilities. Yeah. And I hope Daniel doesn't find this patronising, but Daniel has cerebral palsy. Right. And when I listened to a radio interview on a Birmingham radio station that he sent, the voice recording from Daniel was the voice recording of which you would expect someone who has
cerebral palsy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, this guy's very fucking inspiring. Yeah. He's so out there. He's so on the front foot, on his toes, doing things with that. And he sent me a poem from his new collection that's out now called Guinea Pig. And it's it's just a really fucking inspiring piece. And like, I never get a chance to get any insight really into what it's like to have different circumstances, different perspectives. Yeah, that's probably on me to delve into that a bit more. But I loved the poem, and I was really looking forward to sharing it, actually. Yeah. Do you want me to read it? Yeah, I'd love you to, if that's okay.
So this is Guinea Pig by DK.
Yeah, DK.
Boldly blazing a path to greatness, just like Ali danced and dazzled in the ring, with finesse and flair. I stepped onto my own stage. The spotlight flickering on a canvas unpainted, a vision uncharted, a pulse unheard. For in the landscape of my youth, disability was a ghost, a whisper. There was no one like me in the public eye, So, I became the guinea pig, the pioneer, the youngest soul in the burrow, whirring, spinning, zipping in my electric chariot. First, the lone figure in a sea of able-bodied laughter. I held my head high, weaving my own narrative. Cerebral palsy, a puzzle with crossed wires, each piece fitting intricately, a mosaic of me, a kaleidoscope of challenges and triumphs, fractured beauty in every fragment. A frosty blanket envelops me, icy tendrils creeping, cold fingers inching closer to my core. But I learned, I learned that my hand's grip, it's more than just a steady bond. It's a whisper of resilience, each finger a testament to the battles fought. Through the dance of cerebral palsy, I hold on, embracing the warmth of who I am. Yet, in a world where silence can be a shout, each dysarthrious stuck word becomes a locked door. Thoughts swirling, swimming, trapped like butterflies in glass jars, so close to breaking free, but alas, slipping through my fingers, falling silent, slipping into the void, chasing echoes of what could be. But feel the rhythm. The prickling twinges pulse like heartbeats. A staccato symphony, vibrant, alive. Their seismic shifts within this fragile frame. Foundations shaking, trembling like autumn leaves, and the blankets cling with stubborn tenacity, reluctant to release their warm embrace of slumber. Each morning a silent battle, twists and clenches, victories won. Against foes defined by stiffness, resistance. But green grass grows where resilience roams. A field of healthy blooming hearts. Cerebral palsy's challenges carve us deeper, refining the spirit like an artisan's touch. We glean graceful gestures, plant them in the garden of dreams, nurturing life's tapestry, a verdant screen. Green extends an arm, welcoming all who wander through this cerebral landscape, this tender terrain. Together we flourish companions in the fight, boldly blazing paths in the morning light. So listen, world, to the dance of a life boldly painted. The layers, the hues, the struggles and strength. In every stroke, in every fall, there's beauty, there's purpose. And in this grand dance of life, I take my stand. I raise my voice, a symphony of resilience, a story, my story, and oh, how it shines.
That was Guinea Pig by DK, Daniel K. Come on, you
fucking cracker of a poem.
Oh, man. Break down doors after that. I was inspired from fucking 2 lines in.
Yeah.
Ali dance in the ring.
There's so many fucking bangers in that. Yeah. Oh my god.
Let's go, man. Let's just fucking go.
Let's just go. It doesn't matter where we're going, we're just going somewhere. You're fired up. It's incredible. No, it's really, really good, and such a good insight into obviously someone who's, you know, like has a disability, because obviously we're 2 able-bodied people, and it's great to see life from a different perspective. I think poetry is great like that. It
is great like that.
And it's important to have people like DK, Daniel there to shine
have a
light.
Voice, and a big voice at that.
Definitely. And writing fucking banger of poems like that.
Banger of poems. And also the events. I think the events are picking up. I think they're in West Bromwich in the West Midlands. DK's new collection is called Writing My Own Story Means, and it's available on Amazon, or just drop him a DM. It's DK4 Poetry.
Unreal. Hope people pick up a copy of it.
Yeah, I will be.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up the show with a tune.
Yeah, but first we have some things to plug. that
sorry.
we've been forgetting.
Well, you know, we do it for the art's sake, you see, so we're not very commercially attuned.
We're not doing it for the glory and the fame and the money and the...
But we are having a good time with this read-along, right? So we wrapped up our Michael Longley read-along last month.
Yeah.
That's our third collection that we've done. We've done Adderley Mon, Michael Longley and Maya Angelou so far. It's a great excuse to get back into reading. And it's £3 a month to join.
£3.
And we have a new exclusive podcast every month. And we have a relationship with the Winding Stair Bookshop, which means you get a 15% discount on any book that we choose. And actually they choose it for us, so it's like it's a really nice partnership. It's they're the longest running independent bookstore in Dublin.
And even if you fucking hate poetry and you want to support our podcast,
yeah, exactly.
£3.
Listen, you don't have to exactly. Yeah, don't let the reading put you off.
Don't think I don't want to fucking do that. You can still just give us £3 a month.
Yeah,
if you
it's
like
not
listening.
mandatory. You don't have to.
It's like you don't have to give us 300 £300. I was going to say you don't have to give us £3.
If you want, yeah.
Do you know if you want, but if you want to support the podcast in any possible way, but you get as a bonus, you also get an extra episode, read along, and a discount in the Winding Stair.
Yeah, and we've actually got the next. I haven't told you who it is actually, but I got a message today from Aveen at the shop, and she has selected "Before We Go Any Further" by Tristram Fane Saunders.
Oh,
seemingly an English poet and journalist.
Oh wow!
I'm excited for it. I'd never heard of him.
Either have I.
So that's why you sign up. You just fucking now go and buy it, and you read it, and you listen to our podcast, and you contribute.
Fucking into it, you know.
And I mean,
take our shoes off and just run around the field, or fucking lie in your bed, scream, I don't know, and read some poetry.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's one thing, you know, telling your mates you like a literary podcast.
Yeah.
But imagine telling them that you subscribed to a monthly read along. Like, imagine the Tinder dates that are going to go well.
And I tell you what, we're cheaper than the Calm app.
Yeah, that's true. That's just tenner, isn't it?
So anybody who wants to be
calm,
you can listen to our soothing voices of shite talk.
I mean, what we've said there, that we're not very commercially astute. I mean, that's our partnership with Calm out the window.
What?
I mean, any potential commercial.
We're undercutting them.
We love Calm.
We love Calm.
It's very cost effective.
But we are cheaper. We are slightly cheaper. And it's voluntary. You don't have to pay to listen to our shy talk. But if you'd like to give us a quid, if you use a few extra schmeckles, you want to throw them into the well of literary scene defining whatever shy comes out of my mouth.
Well, this is a literary defining scene defining podcast. Etched into the stone.
We're going to carve it into the library walls.
Yeah.
Anyway,
enough
of us plugging.
Miranda Faul. When this podcast goes out, she'd had already done her show at the International Bar on the Friday. But I'll post about Miranda's work and her upcoming gigs. We're going to share a track from her.
Can't wait to hear that. She's a fantastic musician, Dublin based, and she's going to wow you.
Good, quite funny on TikTok as well.
She's got a good social media game. Yeah, give her a folly. Miranda Faul music. She's fucking lethal.
Yeah, this is Miranda. Leon, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure. Never to show. Ryan Bay.
See you later on.
See you later.
I guess this will surprise you. I'm just the battle I know you'd like to. Regrets, but it's too late now. You failed the test, and you would've let me down. Oh, you would've let me down, down. You don't got to let me down. I thought I could say nothing, that you